But what about that coastal bin? We getting ready for downpours later today? Possibly. The clouds have been growing in size and in quantity. We have several clouds now in Corpus Christi, but there's still some blue in the sky. These downpours grown from the tropics. This is the air mass and often the view of the sky that you get with clouds and then sun. You have wind and then more squally weather to get through. Let's bring in Fox Weather correspondent Katie Byrne. Katie, we've been watching it. Just in, as you heard, the chances of something developing going down, but that does little to affect the forecast. It's more of the technicality, right? It's almost like, all right, it's stepping out of bounds here. It looks like it's already getting closer to land than initially thought, which might mean the rain is dialed back a little, but we still got some moisture trying to work into Corpus Christi.
Yeah, here on the seawall in Corpus Christi, you're still going to hear people noticing that there are strong winds out here, and then we've got the red flags up behind me here, warning swimmers that it's dangerous to swim. So while we may not have a tropical depression that we're watching any longer, still something to keep in mind as we watch those storms make their way towards the Texas Gulf Coast, and we still have a flood threat in parts of South Texas too. But while we were here, we were in touch with Corpus Christi's beach rescue team, and Lacey just walked up, and we wanted to talk to her a little bit more about what the safety conditions or what you're doing to keep people safe out here today.
Oh my gosh, yes. So we are going to have our full staff of lifeguards out. We're going to have our lifeguard towers still manned. We are going to be flying that red flag all weekend. So the red flag is just going to mean that there is a higher risk of rip currents. So maintaining that kind of not going out past your knees. And if you are caught in a rip current, it's recognizing that you'll be pulled out to the very deep water very quickly. And to escape that, you're going to swim out to the sides and you swim kind of parallel to the shore. That's very important. Make sure you're not going in the water by yourself if you go in the water at all. And then just recognizing that those waves are going to be moving really fast and they're going to be really big this weekend for sure.
These are great tips for people, especially as we head into still a summer weekend where people aren't back in school just yet. We had the hurricane hunters just fly into this disturbance out there that's making its way here, and they aren't seeing they're seeing it still disorganized. So it doesn't look like it's going to form into anything, but we still have the risk of rip currents, right, for people who are going to be in the area?
Absolutely, yes. So in those rip currents, with those waves hitting around the 3 to 4 foot mark as they are right now, we have a chance of them even becoming even larger over the weekend. I would encourage everyone to stay out of the water. Again, we are going to have the lifeguards available if you do find yourself in any trouble. And please, 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 if you are going to swim, do not go in the water by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, we are on Friday right now, but tomorrow, what could this look like despite the fact that we have red flags up?
It's going to be busy. I mean, it is still summer. We are in South Texas. And I know for myself, even having my kids in school, they are still looking forward to coming to the beach on the weekends. So we may have spaces here open now, but it's going to be a busy weekend regardless. Yeah. Yes.
Does your team monitor the weather constantly? When you saw this disturbance out there, is that something that you were watching?
Absolutely. So my first task every single morning is to monitor our surf conditions. I determine what the color flag is going to be for that day. And then once our lifeguards actually hit the beach, they're on the sand and they kind of assess too with their own eyes. So I originally put out a yellow flag, which is kind of moderate waters. They came to the shore and immediately called me back at the station and said, we need to upgrade right away. So yeah, we're constantly monitoring.
I think the scary thing too with rip currents is once you're in the water, you can't see them, but from the lifeguard stand, they typically can.
Yeah, so it is really interesting. I'm fascinated with rip currents in general, but a good way to determine what a rip current really is there is a space. So waves are coming to the shore. They come to the shore and then they kind of go back out. That's just the way that the water goes. But the water has to have a space to go back out. So a wave will come in and it'll begin to separate. And then in between that wave separation, that's where that water is kind of looping back around from the shore. And the water is literally going the opposite direction. So if you see a wave coming towards you and then there's maybe an open space where there's no white crest or there's no bubble action or anything like that, that is going to be a rip current, yes.
And great tips at the beginning too of just how people can try to get out of those conditions. I mean, this doesn't look like it's going to form into anything, but do you stay on guard for the rest of hurricane season here, I'm assuming?
So we are on the beach, lifeguards are on the beach 365 days out of the year. Our lifeguard towers will come down the weekend after Labor Day. They do go up the weekend of Memorial Day. So we're out here through the thick of the summertime seasons, yes. But once the lifeguard towers come down, then we also have roving lifeguard trucks, and they are out every single day, yes.
Well, thank you so much for being out here and keeping people safe and talking to us. So great to meet you, Lacey.
Yes,
thank you for talking to us. Oh my goodness. And then, just what they're dealing with on the ground. As this information comes in from the hurricane hunters, I think it's also important to note that there are still active, preps happening and things that people are doing locally along the coast to keep people safe no matter what.
Which is an important component. You have so much beach too, and that actually speaks to Texas's coastline and why it's so prone to surge. There's not a ton of rise aside from the seawall, which I believe that you're on. But from the perspective of just the weather, breezy conditions, right? That's remained the constant since you've gotten there in Corpus, right, Katie?
Absolutely breezy. Today feels a little bit more comfortable than yesterday. When I got off the plane yesterday, my sunglasses fogged up immediately just from the humidity. But today, I think with the breeze, it helps the conditions feel a little bit more comfortable. But locals are noticing that breeze and noticing, I think we have storms coming.
There's a change. Something's different. Yeah, that's true. All right. Great insight. Really, really appreciated the interview too. Fox Weather correspondent Katie Byrne for us in Corpus Christi. Thanks, Katie.